Welcome to the Amplified Whole Health Podcast, where personal and organizational health meet. I'm your host, Justin Collier, and my goal is to bring you insightful interviews with business owners and leaders from a variety of different industries. We'll be talking about employee development, leadership, company culture, and quality products and services, and how they drive success in business. Thanks for joining me, and let's get started. Well, today, here at Amplified Whole Health, we're going to be talking to Marvin. And Marvin is the owner of what?
Primetime Barbershop.
Primetime Barbershop.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How long have you been the owner of Primetime Barbershop?
We opened our doors in 2015, and I don't even know the exact date because I just started cutting.
Okay.
I graduated barber school and I just went all in. I quit my job, full-time job, and yeah.
So you had a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
You became a barber, like you went to barber school and
Yes,
said,
sir.
That's it.
Yes,
Like,
I'm.
2 fingers. Like
Yeah,
I'm out and I'm gonna go cut hair.
Yes, I knew I was gonna graduate in October
Okay.
and of 15, and I gave them I worked there for 8 years at Simmons Foods, and I gave them plenty of time for them to replace me and all of that.
Yeah.
And I chucked the deuces. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. And I went straight to cutting hair. And there was no start date on it was just around Thanksgiving. So it's gonna be about 6 years this month around Thanksgiving that Primetime has been open.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty exciting to see that. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So you got started. It's about 6 years ago. You start just cutting hair. You're like, hey, I'm done. And then at that stage, it's just you.
Yes.
But Primetime isn't just you today.
No. Now it is it's total of 15 barbers.
Wow.
And we have 3 locations. We have the Rogers, Chaffee, and Primetime South running. It's pretty exciting to see that.
Yeah.
I didn't think we would be able to do anything like that. Just a barber, I just cut hair, but now we have 3 locations and it's taking care of all our families.
Wow. Well, and so I want to talk about this today as far as, like how important is employee development and how important is having a strategic vision for your business, and how important is it to build a quality culture, and how do those things begin to drive success? And so that's what I want us to be having a conversation about today. So as you think about that, you start off with just you. Now you're up to 3 locations. You got 15 barbers, and now it's not just you. You're not the only one that you're thinking about. You talked about the fact that now you've got a bunch of families.
Yeah.
It is a family, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. That's the way. That's our culture. That we treat everybody. We care about each other. We want each other to be successful.
Yeah.
So we watch out for each other. Kind of, it's a family, and we do have our fights and all that. But every family does that, and we talk it out and we fix it and we keep it going. But I'll touch on employee development. It's they're with my business model. They're not really my employees. They're I guess you call them, they're classified as contractors.
Sure. Okay.
And I feel like that's one of the hardest person to work with you, because they have to buy in your vision. They have to believe you.
Yeah.
That you have goals, that you have standards or stuff that you're gonna provide and do. Yeah. So when for training, there's always, for development for a barber or stylist, there's always has to be training.
Yeah.
And some of them are gifted and are talented and they can already cut. The technique is already there. You don't really have to spend time on that.
That would not be me. I would not be that guy.
So there's everything. So then again, somebody might be a little rough around the edges, and they might not know how to communicate good with someone brand new. Yeah. So you can work on trying to get them out of their shell. Like what do they do that makes them unique? that makes him different from another barber. Like one barber might not be so good at cutting hair, but he can have a conversation with anybody.
Okay.
Like it just flows, So that's very important because he puts his client at ease right away.
Okay.
You feel comfortable with that person, and it's like, man, go ahead and cut my hair. So that takes some pressure off a barber when the client is comfortable. And now you're having a conversation, and it just flows easier. The haircut is better, and all of that. It might not be the best haircut ever, but the conversation was there, and it was a great experience.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things that we provide at Primetime is a great experience.
Yeah. So in preparation for today, I went to Primetime yesterday.
Oh, nice.
My son went over there with me. Now, he's been to Primetime several times.
Okay.
And so this was my first time at Primetime. Being honest, I have always cut my own hair, like 99% of the time. And so it was really interesting for me because, I'm coming in, I don't ever go.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm used to just cutting my own hair. It's like I get out the clippers and I just buzz it and then I do my own beard, however. And so, I'm thinking, all right, it usually takes me, like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can get a haircut and like, boom, I'm done. And I show up at Primetime. And first off, I'm booking online and it tells you how long you're going to be or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. So I go in and now it's a process. And it's a process where you can tell that there's a skill and it's not like me just hacking up my hair, right?
Yeah.
It is so intentional and it is such a focus on detail. I was shocked at the quality of the service and just the attention to detail and how he was standing back looking at me like, like I don't know what he was doing with his thumbs. But like checking to make sure everything is square and level and man,
nice.
It was really awesome. It was like such a cool experience. And so now I'm thinking, all right, why have I been cutting my own hair? Because that was amazing.
Yeah, it's like, it was probably Alex.
It was, yeah. It was.
Yeah, so he's probably the only one that will do that. That guy is extremely like, I get OCD. He's like, he needs to, if this plant was supposed to be there and he came the next day and it's moved, he'll move it back.
All right.
That's how, he's on it.
Yeah, and he was. He took care of it. So it was really awesome. And so I can tell when you talk about how important it is to build a culture and to make your client comfortable sitting in the chair. And it was like, that's how I felt. I felt comfortable. And, oddly enough though, I felt extremely comfortable, but I was tense the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. And then I was talking to my son afterwards and he said, yeah, I'm tense all the time too. And then I'd relax and then I'd find myself tense again. And it's not because of what y'all are doing. It's just this weird, like I get into the chair and I'm like, I just tense up.
You'll get if you frequent more, you'll be at home.
Yeah.
It's like the first time and you're just like, oh man, and I don't know what to expect because it's either good or bad.
Well, it was good for me.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to hear that. That's exciting. I was like, man, it's another location. I'm not even over there.
Yeah.
And it's just the culture is continued. It's like it's just what we do. Kind of thing, and that's exciting. That really makes me happy. That Nikki and Avis are the ones that they decided to branch out, and they're keeping it rolling.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And so I'm kind of curious, how do you build? I guess how did you create the vision and the purpose for Primetime prior to bringing people on? Like, how did you get to this phase or stage?
Well, I had to take, so when we started the shop, it was two other guys that started the shop with me. It was three of us. And we were pretty open about criticizing each other. Mm-hmm. And so I was probably like, I would cut hair well, but I wasn't that good at keeping a schedule.
Okay.
Because I was always so busy that it wouldn't really, like I could come in whenever I kind of wanted, well, man, this is kind of hard. This has been so long.
But you have a purpose and a vision for it today, right? So
Yeah.
so you're able to clearly articulate what that vision is, because like you just said, they have to buy in to your
Yeah.
vision. So what's your vision then?
Wow.
Like, do you mind sharing your vision?
You know, I do mind. No, I mean, I don't mind at all. I don't mind. Wow, this one's tough because it's always changing. You know, it's always something different. The first thing is you have to find a mentor, someone that, especially in barbering is one of the oldest professions.
Okay.
So and then there's barbers that have done everything that you want to do already. So finding someone that you kind of have the same goals, the same like well, I was a shop owner. How do I become a better shop owner? And it's contacting other shop owners around the area.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be in the state of Arkansas. It can be a shop owner from Chicago, from anywhere like that that's already doing it.
Yeah.
And see what kind of problems they had and what I'm going through and how can I move forward, you know? And I won't have that issue, or I know how to tackle it if I do encounter it.
Yeah.
My problem was, or I guess it has to do with the experience that I had when I first moved to Arkansas. I went into a barbershop. I was brand new in the area. I checked out the hours, and it was 9 or 8 in the morning to like 5 or something in the afternoon. So I'm like, Saturday morning, I'm gonna be the first one there. I'm gonna get a haircut, and I'm gonna look good for school. You know, brand new school and everything. So I go in there, I show up, and I didn't get greeted. I walked in and I was like, I need a haircut, have a seat, and I was pretty much ignored till about 3 or 4, and then I was sitting there so long that finally, you know, someone took care of me.
Yeah.
But that made me not want to go back to that barbershop, and I was like, why don't they want to cut my hair? You know, like I was 13, and I was like, I need a haircut. I'm gonna go to school, brand new school. So I was like, that made me want to cut my own hair.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of, and then when I did open the shop, I was like, I don't want to have anybody experience that. Yeah. That I don't want to take care of them. That we don't want to greet them, and just, you know, we want to greet them and make them feel comfortable when they come to our house.
Yeah.
And that was one of the key things, is I guess customer service.
All right.
Was to make sure that whenever someone walks in, we communicate what's going on. And if we have a full day booked out, we can schedule them for the next day, or let them know what time we're going to take care of them, if we can or not. And that was probably something that changed, like, some of the culture, that people didn't have to just come in and wait around. It's like, okay, these guys have appointments. You know, it's a little more serious in here. So yeah, let me schedule an appointment for tomorrow at 5.
Yeah.
And so now we're offering that, you know, now you don't have to wait for hours in a shop.
Yeah, actually the appointment system, I mean, it was great, because I knew, all right, I'm going to show up and this is what time my appointment is. And then it's like, all right, I kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I was able to block off my calendar, and that was really nice, actually.
Yeah. And everybody now has something to do. Everybody's on the go. So why not have an appointment? You know that, like, you can block that time off and just go to get your haircut taken care of. Yeah. And move on with your day. You know, not as just, oh, I'm gonna go see if I can get in and just guess and waste. I don't say waste, but yeah, but just, you could be doing other productive things during that time.
Sure.
So since we opened the shop, I was the first employee, so I needed to be number one. I needed to be the best at everything. I needed to be the one that could cut the best. I needed to be the one that talked to everybody, greeted everybody. I needed to be the man, you know. I need. So I had to become the ideal employee. Say, so whenever someone new does come in, there's no question about what the standard is. Yeah. So you're leading from the front, right? Yes. So yeah, exactly. So I'm not an owner. I was a leader. Yeah. I had to turn into a leader for all the new guys coming in. Yeah. You know, this is the standard. This is what we do, and that's how we're gonna operate. And by being staying true to the hours, the business hours. As barbers, sometimes we have such a flexible schedule that it's real easy to leave when you don't have anything to do. Okay. So even the very beginning, you might not have a couple of haircuts for hours, and staying in the barbershop for that time is extremely hard because you can go out and go home or whatever and then come back.
Yeah.
But having that discipline where you respect the barbershop's hours, that was a tough one for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like, I know I don't have anything for 5 hours. Like, why do I need to be here? He said, but it's just part of it. It's part of respecting your schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably, you just have to lead by example and stuff like that. And take criticism on your haircuts, because you always have to get better at cutting hair. There's always new styles coming out.
Right.
And you have to learn how to do them so you can teach you have to learn how to do them so you can keep teaching them. And being the man, all that pressure's on you. You have to know how to do it. And then to fix a haircut, because
yeah, okay.
So your business's reputation is on it. You want to give an above and beyond service.
Have you ever had to fix a haircut?
Yes.
Yeah?
We still do. Some of my barbers probably fix some of my haircuts.
Right.
I mean, it's just man, it's like you just can't get them all.
Yeah.
You try to slow down, take your time, but at the end of the day, it's the person's opinion.
Sure.
All
right.
So you go through your steps, your process on how to cut. But if you go too short, that's automatic. The person doesn't like it. If you leave it too long, it's automatic. The person doesn't like it. But when you go too short, you can't fix it because you already cut too much.
I think Alex found mine pretty easy.
Just take it out.
It's just one guard.
Yeah, let's go.
Just get going. Nice. So do you think that you were a natural born leader, or do you feel like you had to learn a lot along the way?
When I was at Simmons Foods, I had I guess my jobs gave me a lot of experience in that of what not to do.
All right.
Like how not to treat people, because I was always the one that I'm not afraid to take responsibility.
Yeah.
And especially take pride in what I do. I feel like taking pride in like your job, anything you do, you have to take pride in it to become the best at it.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, being a dishwasher, it's an entry-level job. Anybody can do it, but I did it really well.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't there, everybody the next day would tell me, "Oh, you weren't here yesterday." Everybody was going crazy because the dishes couldn't be kept up. Yeah. So that made me feel good, even though I was easily replaceable, whatever. But I took pride in it, and I made sure that we stayed caught up with dishes.
Yeah, right.
With dishes,
hey.
But I did it really well.
But everything works around that.
Yeah, so that probably didn't make any sense.
No, it absolutely does. The idea is that you have to take ownership.
Yes.
And there's an interesting book by a Navy SEAL, and one of his things is extreme ownership.
Yeah.
And it's this element that like you have to own it. It's always your responsibility.
Yes.
And so, part of that is taking pride in what it is you're doing. And I think one of the stories that he told in the book is like normally Navy SEALs kind of show up and do whatever they want on base. But like he kept a very strict code of like, look, you're going to dress the way everybody else on base dresses, and because we're here serving these folks.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take pride in our appearance. We're going to take pride because it's a reflection of this base as a whole. And I'm probably getting some of that story wrong, but I think that's the general idea behind it. I mean, you have to own it and you have to take pride in it.
And going, I had horrible bosses.
Okay.
Just you're already going 150 to do an above and beyond job, and just not being like feeling taken advantage of, or not I don't say ungrateful, but not
you're a cog in the wheel.
Yeah, you just like I forgot how to say it, or
that's all right.
But man, take it for granted.
Yeah, all right.
Like you're there every day, and you're there every day. You take responsibility for something that needs to be done, but you're still like just whatever, dude. And that's not how you treat your key players. Some people are just you have to make sure that you're taking care of you're taking care of your squad, your team.
Yeah. How'd you find a sense of pride even in those moments where you didn't feel like you were as valued as you are? How did you find a sense of pride in that work despite that? And what would you tell someone else who was feeling and who was in your shoes?
That feeling when you go home and you could have done better, but you didn't. And that's probably what would get to me, or still does. Like, man, I could have done that better. I could have, like, no, but at the end of the day, knowing that I did my absolute best and I gave it everything, that's what kept me going. Like, no, it doesn't matter what he says. I know at the end of the day, I did everything I was supposed to, and I went 150.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if he's unhappy or not. I did my best.
Yeah.
So that's probably the thing for that. It's like, no, you at the end of the day, you gave it everything you had. So that's all right. Win or lose, whatever. At the end of the day, you did everything you had. So that's a win right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so just watching bosses like that just horrible management skills, and then having some really great ones.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I want to be like that guy. Whenever I move up, whenever I'm in this position, that's how I'm gonna treat people. And because I was working at entry level jobs, people always talk and be like, "Oh, that boss is like, he's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good." So you could see how people's work ethic would change when a different supervisor was there. It's like they would take care of little details that they cared more.
Yeah,
they wanted to make sure that they checked dates on bags. The quality was a lot better because of the leader they had.
They took pride.
Yeah, they were like, no, but with the other guys, it was like, whatever, man. Let this guy get in trouble, And, yeah, so that's what working with everybody, working with the village, you could say.
Yeah.
And you hear the word what everybody's saying, and I was like, so working in that environment kind of played a role in, okay, whenever I was in a barber. Now I became a shop owner. I was like, how do I want to lead these people? I want them to go 150 for me, just like I would for them.
Yeah. So does culture start at the bottom or does culture start at the top?
I think, wow, it has to start at the top.
Okay.
Because when it has to start at the top
There's a couple of different ways I think you could slice it, right? You could take it and say, as an individual, I have a sense of ownership and pride in what I'm doing, so culture starts with me.
Yeah. Wow.
Or you could look at it from the standpoint of quality leadership dictates what the culture is going to look like.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you can have a rotten culture, and I might be doing well as an individual and be able to kind of shrug that off, but your culture could be terrible.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it is a mix, but I don't know. I'm in the camp of it starts with the leaders.
Yeah, I think so too. It has to start at the ones that have the power.
Yeah.
The
responsibility.
the responsibility. They're the ones that are in charge of communicating what needs to be done and following it and do what you say.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's important. Being transparent.
Okay.
Being transparent is I think is one of the biggest things that when you communicate, when you want to sell somebody an idea, a vision, you really have to, even when everything, you can say everything, all the good stuff in the world, but include some of everything. You put everything on the table, and this is what we have, and this is how we can make it better. And we go from there. We go from there together. And I think, wow.
So here's an interesting, I guess, question is, you talked about being really open with criticizing each other early on in your career, right? Mm-hmm. So working with two other guys, and you would just be honest with one another and say, hey, these are the things that you could change and do different.
Yeah.
How do you do that now as an owner and share that feedback in such a way that people walk away not feeling defeated? Right? What's your technique or secret there?
I don't have one. I genuinely care to help someone grow. So I think that's one of my gifts that I have, that I really want to help, and I see what they like, and I can talk about all my guys, and know what they like, know what they don't like, and stuff like that. It's just, I genuinely take the time to know them, to see how I can help them, or they can help me.
Sure.
You know, some of them they're helping me. You know? So, and I guess being a leader is knowing when to follow is another is a big one. So, well, I forgot the question already, but I really did forget the question.
You're good. We'll move on.
No, I want to go back to
No. I mean, we're just, if you think about your culture and communicating to an individual the challenges that they have, right?
Okay.
Like, so how do you articulate that? But I think what you're telling me, or what I think you're saying is that you've developed trust.
Yes.
In these relationships, because you've gotten to know people, so that way when you do come to somebody with a critique, it doesn't come across as negative and attacking, but rather, hey, I'm coming alongside you and we're partners in this.
Yes.
And this is how we can get better.
And when you do build that trust, you know what not to say to someone that will make a mad. For example, if someone is more sensitive, then you pull them to the side and be like, hey, I noticed you did this. Next time, try something like this. Or another guy, you might need to call him out in front of everybody, because you want to kind of bring him down a level.
Okay.
To get him to understand, to register that, hey, you're messing up.
Yeah.
You know, you need a crowd for him to realize it. And some people do it better when it's like a little pep talk in the back or something.
Yeah.
So
which one are you?
Either. I'm just happy that I'm glad that somebody will come and tell me, hey, you're messing up, or maybe if you do this better, I love that. You know, and I'm pretty, I feel like I do well to where all of my guys feel comfortable telling me something. That everybody's just saying it, and I'm the last one to know. I feel like I love it that they feel like they can come talk to me about anything that's going on in the shop. Someone is not doing something, or they'll tell each other. You know, they're like, hey, you're not sweeping. Come on, man, sweep.
Yeah. Get to work.
Yeah. And so that's the culture we have, that we're not afraid to tell each other when we need to step it up. Okay. So that's pretty cool.
You've set the bar high.
Yeah.
And so everybody that works there has that same bar.
Yeah.
And they have to perform.
Yeah.
And because everybody, it sounds like everybody is willing to call everybody else out in such a way that encourages growth.
Yes. Like, man, I know I've been messing up. And it makes you, like, when you, for example, if you're late. Yeah. You feel like, man, if I'm late, I know they're going to start saying something. You know, it's like everybody feels that. Or if you miss a day. Yeah. We'll give everybody heck about it. It's like, ooh, you're missing days now? What's going on? And then they're like, oh, I know, whatever. But
it's a culture of accountability.
Yeah. So, yeah. So just being, especially at the one on Rogers. Yeah. That thing is for any barber that goes in there. Yeah, they better be ready.
Get to work.
Yeah, those guys in there, they don't play.
Yeah. So how is all of this culture and the leadership components, and you talked about developing employees and kind of training them and coaching them and so on. How has that led to the quality products and services that you provide today?
So continued education. So I love going to classes for hair. Like, there's educators all over the country that have online academies, and they teach classes at wherever they live. There's seminars for barbers and all of that. And I spent a lot of money doing that. You know, I want to get better. Mm-hmm. And not just for me, but I want to bring it back to my barbers and my stylists. So that's taking care of the technique. The technique aspect of it is just knowing how to create a better haircut. Yeah, you could say. and it's just repetition, and yeah, the repetition of doing haircuts and just bringing back that education that we go learn.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it with haircutting. Is like you have to have a system in place and just keep the reps, keep cutting and cutting until you perfect it.
Yeah.
To get, I don't know if you heard it, but to master a craft, it takes 10,000 hours.
I've heard that. That's a lot of hours. I think if you look at a work week, it's 2,000, not a work week, sorry, a work year. If you were just going to work 40 hours a week, I think it's 2,080 hours.
Yeah.
So 10,000.
It's 5 years of
grinding.
Yes, and that's before you, and you don't even count the years that you're trying to learn how to cut hair.
Right.
You count as soon as you have your system developed, you count from there. So like, I mean, when do you start? With barbering, it's like you never stop learning. You can get decent and pretty good at executing them, but you're always pushing the bar, kind of thing.
So you're 6 years in. So that you've hit your 10,000.
No,
No,
I have not. I'm not counting.
Right.
I'm always learning. I'm always at year one.
All right, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, I'm always trying to get better, and I'm always trying to get better. I have a class scheduled for March already.
Really?
Yes.
Right.
And I do my own. Like every Tuesday for the last 3 months, I've been sharing my knowledge and my techniques to anybody that wants to come to the barbershop.
And how has that been received?
I get sometimes I'll get like 1 or 2 people, but then sometimes I get some pretty. It's just like Tuesday night.
Do people are they like really engaged and like, man, I'm learning a lot? Do you have the same people keep showing up again? Is it different people?
I have it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I have we have some folks that are committed to coming to Primetime after they get done with barber school.
Yeah.
So they're there every Tuesday, making sure that they get the extra reps in, the extra doing a little more to get better, because you don't want to come to the shop and just be like, man, I suck. It
is a craft. I mean, it really is. After having been there and going through the experience of the services that you offer and provide at Primetime, and then talking to Alex and hearing the amount of time that you go to school and like the cost that you put into it. It's not like you just wake up on a Sunday morning and go, you know what, Monday morning I'm going to start cutting hair.
Yeah, you can. I wish it was that easy. If it was that easy, oh man.
Yeah. But then there wouldn't be places like Primetime if that was that easy.
No, even if they did, even if it was, I think it's just the work. The work we do will always set us apart. Always. It's true. Always wanting to set the bar higher.
And you've talked a lot about today just all of the different ways that you have set that bar higher. I mean, just from the culture perspective, like constantly training yourself.
Yes. Constantly
training your employees. It sounds like there's a number of things. What other things have you done to set that bar high?
Operating, being professional.
Yeah.
As far as even the image, down to just greeting somebody at the door. That's a little detail. I like to tell them the 5 senses. Like whenever someone comes in, they see you. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you look nice.
Y'all look good.
Yeah, you did. The appearance. Make sure when they see you, you look nice. You don't have food hanging off your beard, or they. I don't have a haircut right now, but make sure that we stay on top of our grooming game too.
Yeah.
They see that the shop is clean. That if they look around and all that. So now we go to when you hear when they walk in, we're not even trying to cuss anybody out. Our music is pleasant. It's it's nice. There's no cussing involved. It's cool music.
Yeah.
Everybody will listen to it. It's not. The lyrics are not bad or anything like that.
Sure.
We try our best to make sure it stays like that. So now we got seeing, hearing, and the smell. Make sure that they smell the products we use, from the beard oil to how our shop smells. Mm-hmm. And that's the covers 3 of them. And then obviously you can't taste anybody, but you give them a mint. I don't know. Little kids, we give them a sucker.
Okay.
So we already, so the taste for kids, and then The last one is hearing. Did I say hearing?
No.
So when we talked our conversation, you don't hear us in there, talking, having that conversation is not supposed to be out in the open kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably one of the things that we make sure that we keep a great environment for folks to come back.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in those 5 sentences that you just said. So many businesses could take advantage of.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah. Did you come up with it on your own?
No, I'm saying that there's already shop owners all around the country that are shop owners, barbers, people that are in the hair industry that are willing to share their knowledge. And just me going to seminars and talking to people, having a conversation, what they're doing, how did they get 7 locations? How are they doing it? Like, how did they keep the culture? How did you do it?
Yeah.
And keep it in touch with them. And this is what I'm going through. Oh, they give me a plan and stuff like that.
Have you found that people have been really open and inviting as far as giving you advice and working with you, giving you thoughts and ideas?
I've had my experience with both.
Okay.
Like some of them are kind of, what is this guy trying to do? And other ones are like, oh man, yeah, here's my number. Talk to me whenever you have some time. Text me and all of that, and I'll give you whatever you need. Yeah. And so it's been both. So you just move on.
Yeah. And you're talking to other barbers.
Yeah.
So there's obviously room enough for everyone.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Just think about it. There's here in Fort Smith when you're coming up, it says 100,000 on the population.
Sure.
There's no way we can cut 100,000 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get people that come every 2 weeks, every week, every month. So that automatically fills your books. So there's no way. There's plenty for everybody. It's just it falls down to your customer service, how you're treating people.
Yeah.
Because there's I don't want to put nobody on blast, but some barbers are not as good at cutting hair, but they have a great conversation. Yeah. And people love that. Or some barbers have terrible customer service, but they do a immaculate haircut. Yeah. And so it's just whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Finding your own way.
Finding your niche, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But there's enough for everyone. There's enough for everyone. You just have to respect the hours and all of that.
Right. And how, like, I guess, were you nervous when you started this whole process? Like, you went to school, you decided to just, like, I'm quitting my job. I'm going to start cutting hair. Where was your, like, fear factor at on this?
I'm always, not to say nervous, but there's risk with anything new that you do. There's always a risk. And when I was working in the poultry factory, I reached the highest level that I could. I was in management, I was supervisor, and there was no more moving up for me because I didn't go to school. I didn't keep going. I didn't have a degree. I don't have a degree, and moving up was kind of out of the question. They wanted someone they had a degree and more educated and all of that. So that kind of knocked off my chances. Sure. And I was working second shift, and I had just had my son, and man, I needed to find something else. I needed to go to first shift so I could spend more time with the family, and that's where I was at. What can I do? And I've always cut hair on the side. That's just, I cut my own hair. I cut my friends on my days off. That's what I would do. I would cut their hair. We would have a great conversation. But there was barbers around town, but they didn't give me they didn't show me that it could be done to take care of my family. Yeah. It just wasn't something that I was like, oh yeah, I can be a barber and make it. And make it. There's that I could see. At that time when I was real materialistic, like I would see cars and just stuff like the shoes and all of that. Yeah. And everybody that worked in a poultry factory had the best trucks. Okay. And I wanted a truck, so I went to the poultry factory. Okay. My barbers, they didn't have the best cars, Yeah. So that's what I would see. It's like, man, well, his car's not that good, so it must not mean that, Yeah. It must mean something to me because I went to the poultry, and I was like, and when I met my wife, well, I was already married, but we would go to Chicago. She's from Chicago.
Yeah.
And that's where I met one of my first mentors.
Okay.
His name is David Gonzalez up in Chicago. He lives in Cicero. And I walked into the shop and I didn't get a haircut by him the first time I went in there because he was busy.
Yeah.
He was busy and I saw the difference of a shop in a bigger city to one here. They were a little more professional.
Mm-hmm.
They were taking care of business.
Hmm.
And then I was like, wow, they're treating it different than just a hustle, than just something to get by.
Right.
And I kept, we keep going to Chicago. That's where my wife's family's from. And I'll go see him and I would ask him questions. I was like, how is it to be about, how is it like? Oh, and he would give me the whole script. You have to be here on time. You have to you work on your skills and all of that. And I started working in a garage with, he has a barbershop on 6th Street. His name's Julio. And I met him through a mutual client. I used to cut him, or Julio would cut him whenever in between or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he linked us up and we started cutting hair in his garage.
Okay.
And that was yesterday, 9 years ago. This is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, right now those memories are popping up on Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. It's like, hey, look what you did 9 years ago.
9 years ago, I was in there cutting hair with him in the garage, and he had experience he's from New York, and he was cutting hair in his garage, and I went in there and we started cutting hair in the garage, and it turned into it was pretty cool because we had it in there rocking. We would have the whole block filled with cars, just waiting for people to get a haircut by us. And I wasn't even that good. I mean, I was horrible, but people would go and rock with us. I was like, man, I would look outside and I was like, when am I gonna be done? But I didn't care. I just like to cut hair.
Yeah,
I'll do it for free. But they would pay us like $5, $10, something like that at that time, and it was pretty cool. That's okay. Watching Julio open up his shop, and I was like, well, it can be done.
Yeah.
He would always tell me, man, go to barber school. But then again, I was like, I didn't believe. I had my job, and I was like, this is what's taking care of my family. How am I gonna do it? And I'll pull forward 2 years later, I was like, man, I'm going to barber school. I'm gonna go do this. Yeah. And our visions didn't align anymore, so I started my own thing. Yeah.
So did you? It's like you end up in this. It's like that's a pretty incredible story. So I guess what I'm curious about is do you think what you're saying and the story that you're telling applies to other people that might be in your shoes? Like say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, they're walking in the door of and pick a different profession. Yeah. Do you feel like a lot of the things that you've learned apply to other folks?
Yes, I think anything that they offer a service where they have to do the work and really have to be not say the face, but have to operate it. Yeah. It will work. It will, like, to the 5 senses with the customer service. And now the game is changing. Now, it's more social media is what's ruling. And so you have to evolve and get better at stuff like that. Yeah. To make sure that you create awareness for your business. Yeah. But I would say now Primetime has made it easier for barbers here in town because we set the standard to be professional, to offer a premium service. Yeah. So now it's like, why not? These guys are being successful at it. Why not? It's okay to be a copycat. You want to copy the right cat.
Have you seen? That's cool. Yeah. Have you seen some folks out there that are stepping up their game?
Oh yeah, of course, all over town. It's and there's plenty for everybody, and that's okay. Hey, we all come from the same place. We're chasing our dreams.
The product just keeps getting better. Yeah. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, competition's a good thing. Yeah, it makes it validates your market. Yes. I mean,
it really does. It makes sure that everybody stays on their toes. Make sure that you're still, you keep pushing forward and stay on your toes with everything. So that's everybody has goals. Everybody has a vision, and sometimes even if you do the same service, it can't be. They can do their thing. We can do our thing over here. But it's all love, Yeah. Everybody's chasing their dreams.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it seems to me like a lot of that chasing of the dream is just having a positive attitude. You're one of the most positive people I probably ever met. You really are. And then on top of that, it's just like taking action. I mean, like at the end of the day, you had to make the decision. Am I going to go to school, barber school, or am I not?
That's probably a perspective. A lot of like one of my old bosses, he was a real good one. He was perspective is reality.
Mm-hmm.
He would always tell me that. And at first I didn't get it. I was just like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Right now we're having problems and you're over here. And, and then later on as I kind of got it, and it's like, if you're having all these problems and you keep kind of dwelling on it and not trying to find a solution, then it's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's for example, one of my barbers comes in and he only has one cut for the day. It's like, man, why should I even come in? I only have one cut. He's like, well, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it this way. It's like, man, I have one haircut to do today, and I am gonna kill it. I am gonna do the best one haircut ever.
Yeah.
And you're already coming in feeling good, and you're about to take care of this person, and it could be in the middle of the day, but you come in on time like a regular day, and you might catch a walk-in that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody might call the shop and be like, hey, can someone take care of me in a couple hours? Yeah, my guy's here.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the day, you have a full schedule.
All because your attitude kept you at work.
Yes, all because, just pushing through it, the bad and just the perspective on how you see things. I'm really big on that. It's like, I'm glad I haven't had like a huge problem. Not yet,
Yeah.
But that's probably my ultimate test right there. I haven't had an ultimate test like that where I'm in the dark or something,
Yeah.
But every problem that I've had, I always okay. There's got to be some good into this, There's got to be something that I can make let's find a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find a solution for it. Okay, we know what the problem is. We got to identify it. Now, what are we gonna do to solve it? How do we get over this?
Yeah.
So and I'm about action. So when I feel like when it's a people problem, you have to take action right away. You can't let it wait.
Mm.
So when it's something like you have no control over,
Yeah.
the weather, it's
Yeah.
like, you can either you get a raincoat, get an umbrella,
Get a raincoat. Yeah.
But yeah, the perspective that you see a problem and make sure you get a solution. You find a solution and try everything before you quit.
Yeah.
Before you quit, yeah, try everything. Like at the end of the day, you did everything you could to try to help it or save it, and then you move on like that. But yeah, you lose time, and time is something we can't get back. So I try my absolute best not to dwell on negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I think that's solid advice. Well, and speaking of, and we'll wrap up. I guess what I'd like to know is as a small business owner, right? So if you're talking to another small business owner, what one thing would you tell them?
Wow. What one thing to... Ooh, man, that's tough.
You can have two or three, I guess. If you want.
Oh, man. Take care of your team. Take care of your team, because that's what makes you grow. The team is what's gonna help you. You can't do everything yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't. There's no way. Especially as you get bigger,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have a solid leaders.
Yeah.
Train people to be leaders instead of just to do a job.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have 3 locations with just you.
Yeah, there's no way. Train leaders.
Yeah.
And communicate. Oh man, be transparent when you communicate and train leaders.
All right.
Don't train just somebody to do a job.
Yeah.
Train the next one, the next leader, because that one's gonna train the next one and the next one and then that, and then it so on.
Yeah.
So it goes on from there.
Man, that's solid advice. I think that's really solid advice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thrilled that you came on the show and participated, and it's just been a lot of fun. I guess I'll have one final question for you.
Yes, sir.
Who would you challenge to come and sit in the hot seat? And they don't have to be here. They don't have to be local. They could be somebody someplace else. But who would you challenge to come sit in the hot seat?
Wow. Let's see.
So they got to be a business owner or a business leader. You don't have to own a business, but you got to be a leader.
I would say, have you had anybody from Activate come over here?
Not yet. They're on my list, though.
I would,
on my list. But you're saying them.
yeah. That you get four with one shot.
I might break it up though. I'd like to. I've been thinking. I'd like to get the ladies' perspective.
Yeah, hey, that would be pretty interesting right there because they're the real leaders right there.
They're getting it done. Yeah, we won't say anything to Mark or Dallas about that. Yeah. All right. So you're gonna call out the Activate folks.
Yeah, call the Activate
All
Activate
right.
family.
I like it. That's good. That's good. Well, thanks again. I really do appreciate it. It's been great having the opportunity to talk about company culture, quality leadership, services and products and employee development. I think that those things really do make such a big difference. And I'm just really appreciate your perspective. So thanks so much. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get to do this again sometime in the future.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready for part 2.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yes, sir.